of fate.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me when you'll remember this.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and joined by my good friend / my co-host, Devin. And today we're here to break down and give our insights on the latest horror film to hit the year 2022. It is titled Barbarian. And before we begin today's episode, you can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. Or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie-related questions. Devin, how's your weekend been, man? Have you been watching anything exciting lately? You've just been chilling, or trying not to go down any dark hallways for like the past few nights.
Yeah, I did not stay in any B&Bs this weekend, and I feel like the B&B industry might take a bit of a hit after this movie, to be honest. We'll see how that goes, but yeah, I finished up season 2 of Harley Quinn last night, so that's going good. How about you?
It's been pretty good, man. I've I can officially say, for number one, my mother has finally finished all of Stranger Things.
There you go.
She's all caught up. She did it within like 2.5 weeks, which is kind of crazy. And then I am all caught up on Cobra Kai. Woo! 50 episodes, man.
Wow.
50 episodes. They're super short, though. They're like maybe 30 to 35 minutes. Some of them push around the 40, but usually for season finales for sure. But it's like I'm all caught up with it. I mean, but now I have like this really weird urge to go back and watch the Karate Kid movie. So I actually might do that this tonight or
the Jaden Smith one specifically.
No, I'm good.
I remember going to the theaters to see that with my grandma. I was real little.
It doesn't beat the original. I mean, Danny Russo, Johnny Lawrence. I mean, come on, it was fantastic. But yeah, I did splurge a little and buy Karate Kids 1 through 3, and I bought the next Karate Kid. That's the one. There was that one, and then I think the one with Jaden Smith came out in like 2010 or it might have been earlier. I can't remember, but yeah, I'm still going. Like I definitely want to rewatch those movies because I remember watching those at a younger time in my life for sure. So I'm very I can't believe I watched all of Cobra Kai. That's all I have to say. I'm sorry. I'm a little slap happy right now. It's been a very, very long day. I do apologize, listeners. Voice isn't exactly where it needs to be, but we're going to press on for you guys. So as we stated before, we're going to be covering Barbarian, which is the latest horror movie by director Zach Cregger and written by Zach Cregger as well. So I think we're just going to get on into it, ladies and gentlemen. If this is your first time here, welcome. The way we usually normally do these types of reviews is that we go through the initial reaction first, and then we hit a little bit of spoilers, and we definitely let you guys know before we hit that mark. Then we get into some fun Easter eggs, if there are any, to points out, and then we get into our final thoughts and ratings, and then we skedaddle on out of here.
This might be the biggest spoiler movie ever. Like, it's so hard to even say anything.
I think so, because it's a smaller scale movie, but man, it hits home. It really, really hits hard.
But like before we get into any of it, just go in blind. If you're thinking about watching it, go in completely blind. It'll be an amazing experience. Like the trailer did a really good job of not showing anything. Like I'm actually surprised because usually trailers always give way too much. But you can watch the trailer, but other than that, just go in, dive into that basement.
Yep. No, definitely though. It is one of those movies where I think it is, like Devin said, it is best to go in blind. I mean, I've seen the trailer a few times, but even the trailer only shows like the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, the trailer gives nothing away, which is really good.
Yeah, I'm very, very surprised about that. Like, I was extremely impressed. But, Devin, are you ready to head on down to the dark basement and kind of just
Barbary Street.
Barbary Street. Justice for Barb. Hashtag Stranger Things Season 1.
Maybe she's the Barbarian.
So that's where she went. So she was kind of like an upside down. I mean, if you think about it, this is kind of like the upside down of a specific neighborhood. So
A man-made upside down.
That was literally shook me to my core. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this introduction to Barbarian.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
This is 476 Barbary, right?
Yeah, I'm renting this place.
No, I booked it a month ago.
Are you sure you have the right place?
Yeah. What am I supposed to do?
Why don't you come inside and we'll call these idiots. Why don't you just crash here?
Oh, no.
I don't know if you got a great look at this neighborhood, but I don't think you should be out there by yourself. It's dry and there's a lock on the door. By the way, I'm Keith.
Tess.
You take the bedroom and I'll sleep out here on the couch.
God. Keith?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back. You just heard a little snippet of the trailer from Barbarian. Again, this movie is directed by Zach Cregger and written by Zach Cregger as well, and stars Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, and Justin Long. And the story is as follows. A woman staying in an Airbnb discovers that the house she has rented is not what it seems. So that's pretty much it. I think that's a very good synopsis by IMDb, which is amazing. You know, they never give too much away, but I think that's a very simple premise to kind of follow off of. And honestly, that's something I would probably just tell somebody to, you know, give them the premise of what's going on and kind of just leave it at that. But we're about to get into our initial reaction, so I'll pass it over to Devin so he can give his first thoughts. So, Devin, what did you think of this movie?
Yeah, like I said before, there really isn't too much to say without getting spoilers, but I will just say I love the movie. Absolutely, like, perfect casting. We can get into why in the spoiler section, but very, very good casting. I love the editing. I thought there were some really cool edits in here, like some snappy edits and some cool shots in between. Overall, very, very surprising movie. Like, you're not going to know where it's going, and that's probably the best part.
I definitely agree with you there, man. When it comes to horror movies, for people who don't know, I'm not the biggest horror fan in the world, but there are some movies I will tolerate. This one definitely, like I said before, this movie kind of shook me to my core because
I'm imagining the one specific scene that probably got to you because it gave me goosebumps. Like, it hit hard. It
was. We'll talk about when you get the spoilers because I think we're talking about the same scene, but it's just like this movie just knocked my socks off. Like, if you are looking to get scared, if you're looking to get freaked out just in time for the fall season, spooky season, whatever you want to call it, pumpkin spice latte season, this is definitely the movie to start your Halloween off on the right path, because I jumped a few times, but it's like I just didn't know where the movie was taking me, and that wasn't a bad thing. And you know, there's a little bit of world building here and there, but that I feel like they might have been able to expand on a little bit, but it doesn't really matter because I mean, it did its job, and it was shrouded in mystery. This movie with Georgina Campbell, I think she did a fantastic job. Same thing.
I thought she killed it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of actors or actresses within this movie. I mean, Bill Skarsgård, Justin Long, and Georgina Campbell are pretty much the main three, outside of other dwellers. But it took me a while. Like I actually had trouble like falling asleep like a few nights after I saw this, and for about a good week, it's been almost about a week since we've seen this. I'm very hesitant to walk down like long corridors that just pitch black, and I can't do it anymore. Like
that's when you know you got a hit on your hands.
Oh man, it did such a great job. Just the mystery surrounding about what's happening in the house, and just the character development. And I mean, it seems like we got little character development, but it was right on point. Like everyone just brought their A game, and it kind of just it set out what it was supposed to do, and that's all I can really say about it. Like Devin said before, if you haven't seen this movie, definitely just go in blind, because I promise you, you will not be disappointed. It's probably one of my favorite movies of this year. And I think I've said this on other episodes, where I feel like the movie experience has been a little light this year, especially this year for whatever reason. But, DC just moved their entire slate to like 2023 outside of 2 movies. But, that's a story for another time. But yeah, it just feels like, I between this and Orphan First Kill, I mean, Orphan First Kill was okay, but like now this was a horror movie, like 100%. It shook me to my core, and I just can't stop thinking about.
And it had some surprisingly funny moments too, specifically Justin Long.
Oh yeah, he always brings his A game. Like I mean, especially from like New Girl, stuff like that. He's always been a comedic relief for sure. But yeah, it was just a wild ride. And like, I'm afraid, but like, I kind of want to see it again. But like, I don't at the same time.
I want to see it with a group of people like that haven't seen it. That's the ultimate.
That is definitely what I wanted, because that is it. There's nothing better than watching people watch a movie that what's going to happen, and then they just start freaking out, and it's like, this will definitely be the movie. But this movie is not for the lighthearted, so I cannot stress enough. But if you're looking for a good scare, this is definitely the movie to watch. So I feel like we're just about to get into our spoiler section here, because there is a lot to talk about. It's kind of hard to talk about this movie without giving away spoilers, because there's just a lot going on. I guess you can say the twist in a way. So ladies and gentlemen, that is your first spoiler warning for Barbarian again. That is your second spoiler warning for Barbarian. So if you haven't seen it, definitely, grab a friend, your brother, your lover, your mother, whoever it may be. Go watch this movie if you're looking to get spooked, because it definitely kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time. Oof. But yeah, so now we're in our spoiler section. Where to begin? I guess the lady, the inbred creature.
I wanted to start with the casting, because I mentioned the casting earlier and how they did such a good job, because it subverted your expectations right away. Because they cast Bill Skarsgård as the first guy, and he is obviously known for playing Pennywise in It. So you have the preconceived notion that this is an evil guy. He looks spooky. He's got a weird look to him, so you automatically don't trust him. But then the big twist, he's just a normal guy. Like he's just Keith. That's all he is. And then he just gets his head smashed in by a barbarian. Then shit really starts to hit the fan. And then also Justin Long being cast, like he usually plays the good guy, like fun character, but he's an absolute monster in this movie. So it's just great casting, because it just messes with you and messes with your expectations, and I love that.
I definitely agree with you there. Yeah, it definitely, the entire movie made it seem like, obviously, Georgina's character, comes to this Airbnb. Bill's character is already, occupying the place. And it's like, oh, well, he's acting a bit shifty, but no, he's just Keith. I think he's just a normal guy, because it's like, I mean, it's not every day where, you know, Georgina Campbell comes knocking on your door saying, hey, you know, I rented this space and now we have to share it. But there was, during the beginning, at least Act 1, it made it seem like he had, like, you know, had lured her in, like he was like the main threat. But no, like you said, he gets his face bashed in, but they do such a great job.
Oh my God, that scene. That's the scene we were talking about earlier. Like, I had goosebumps. I was like, what the fuck just happened?
I can't even, because even in the trailer, they don't show what the monster looks like.
Yeah, they don't show anything. They don't show any deaths. They don't show any, and it just comes out of nowhere. That,
it literally freaks me out. Like, I had to close my eyes for a second because I was just so, I couldn't. Like,
and then it just does a jump cut right to Justin Long in the car, and I was like, whoa, what is happening? It's like it's like that's a really good shift to the second act. It's like, wow. And then you're like, oh shit, what happened to her? What's gonna happen? And then you have to wait for his character, and it's like, wow.
It was crazy because like during the end of Act 1, you know, Bill Skarsgård gets his, you know, face bashed in, and then this lady is just like screaming in,
giant naked lady.
Oh, yeah. And then it goes to Justin Long, and you find out that he, you know, there's a few sexual allegations against him and this girl that he was seeing, and you know, they were like filming like a TV show or something, and then you find out he owns a house in the middle of Detroit. It is kind of weird how there's one house all in the middle of Detroit that was like kept up, and every other like house was just destroyed.
In very bad parts of Detroit.
Extremely. Like, I mean, there's hobos walking around everywhere trying to warn Georgina. We don't really feel like he's trying to the first time because we're told how bad of a neighborhood it is, and then he knows what's in that house, and he's like, after a while, he's like, yeah, don't go in that house. Like, just don't. Because it's not, and the scary part isn't that she lives underneath in these like corridors. The fact that she comes out of the house at night. And I was like, oh, so they're really...
That's how unkept this street is, and that's how little attention it gets. It's like, it's also kind of a commentary just on kind of what happens in the lower, like the high poverty, like lower income places in America. Like, they just get left in the dust and left behind. Cops don't even go out there because they don't care about what happens. And even if you do get a cop's attention, they're just going to think you're a crackhead, which is exactly what happened to Tess. They were like, we don't care what you have to say. You're obviously a crackhead. Just go away. Even though she had a very good reason to get their attention.
Yeah. That's a really good point because it played out so perfectly because she got out barely, by the way. I was like, you gotta get out of there. Like, I was like, kick that door down. I don't care what you gotta do. She could have kicked that door down. And she was like, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna go through the basement window. She had to like, oh, that was too close, man. Because once we learned that she, like I just couldn't. I couldn't. I was.
And then we do another. The thing to Justin Long was a 2-week time jump, which was very interesting. She was trapped down there for 2 weeks, which is terrifying. Who knows what happened to her during that time? But then we do another time jump back to probably the 70s, I'm guessing it was, to the origin of this insane serial killer psychopath who created the underground tunnel system and used it to harbage and kidnap like probably hundreds of women, and then has kids with them, and then has kids with those kids, and then that's what happens, and that's how we get this giant monster woman. Lots of incest.
Yeah, the inbred monster. It was, I mean, in the makeup for the I don't even think we learned the monster or the lady's name.
It's just Mother. When she gave them the milk bottle and had all that hair on it. Oh my God. That was terrible.
Justin Long was like, no. She's like,
but Tess drank it because she knew what happens if you don't.
It was the worst, man. Ooh. And then of course, kind of fast forwarding to where the hobo kind of saves them, and then the lady mother, we'll just call her mother. She comes out of her little boundaries. She kind of just goes for
burst through that wall. It was hilarious because he's like, I've been here for 10 plus years and she has never ever bothered me. Then just burst right in like the Kool-Aid man.
It was freaky.
And then we get to the finale, the climax, where Justin Long's character and Georgina Campbell try to escape. They go up to a water tower, and Justin Long's true colors really come out, and he is terrible.
How did that scene play out for? Did you think that was I actually thought Georgina's character Tess was actually dead, because I'm like, there's no way she survived that.
Yeah, I thought she was dead for sure, but the mother was able to superhuman jump and land under her to save her.
Yeah,
which is sure, it's silly and goofy and campy, but just kind of works for what the movie was going for at the end, because it just went over the top with everything, and it was just. And then the very end, what did the mother keep saying? She was just like Baba.
Yeah, Baba or something like that, and then bring the pistol up to her and just put it out of its misery. She had it. Now we have a new final girl.
Yeah. I'm shocked she's still alive, because she got shot too, accidentally, by Justin Long, but still.
Oh yeah, that's right. She did accidentally get shot by Justin Long. I forgot about that. Yeah, when she went back to save him, which she did not have to at all. She just could have. That's the thing I like about her character, though. It's up until that, she was making all the right decisions for the most part. She wasn't some dumb damsel in distress. She made smart decisions throughout. It's just she kind of got screwed over. But then obviously he just ruined everything, and he ends up being a terrible person. I was trying to figure out why they named it Barbarian. I was trying to make a connection there. And then at first I thought, well, it's on Barbary Street, so there's something there. But then I looked up the definition of barbarian, and it's a member of a community or tribe not belonging to one of the great civilizations. Very fitting for Mother, because she does not belong in society, because she is like inbred squared, multiplied by 1,000. She might be the first ever mutant. Yeah, that's worse. Inbreeding. Even in Westeros, Targaryens wedded each other for generations, but nothing like that happened.
Yeah, it's just wow.
I was like I said, this movie really did shake me to my core. I was very, I was blown away. I really, really was. But I think it is one of the best movies of the year, for sure, as far as my final thoughts go. But Devin, was there anything else you wanted to touch on before we close out here for your final thoughts?
If there was one negative I have, I think the ending felt a little rushed. It felt like they kind of just got to the end destination pretty quickly. I do love the ultimate ending where she shoots her. I felt like that was very fitting, but getting to that point felt a little bit rushed. But other than that, just a great surprise of a movie. I feel like it should have been marketed more too, because I feel like nobody's heard of this. I was talking to my sister and my family and my friends, you guys heard of this movie Barbarian? They're like, what the hell is that? Nobody knows what this is. It did top the box office this weekend, because it was a very slow week, but
right, yeah, because I think everyone's kind of waiting. Oh, I feel like next week might be the same. We have Pearl coming out, and then I think The Woman King also comes out. That might be the box office winner. It might be The Woman King. It looks amazing. So, I think this was made by 21st Century Fox. I think it is under the Disney umbrella, which makes a lot of sense, because ever since Disney acquired Fox, they don't seem to market those stories, those movies, the same way. They have been
letting them do what they want, though, which is nice.
Yeah, I want to say The Invitation, was that Sony or was that 21st Century Fox? I think that was Sony. That was Sony. Yeah, that was Sony Pictures. They're usually hit or miss, and that's why I saw that. I was like, I mean, we kind of already got that with Ready or Not in a way. So, I mean, maybe if it comes to streaming, I'll watch it. But yeah, no, this movie, Barbarian, was.
And then also the psycho old guy in his bed who takes the pistol and just ends it himself. Like
the original, the serial killer himself. Because, yeah, we got a little bit of that flashback of him. I thought that was. He just ended his life, but I was like, this is just too freaky. I'm like, how far?
I also just loved all the foreshadowing. Like at one point, Tess and Keith are having a pretty deep conversation, and she talks about how men can just go through life and make a ton of messes and just get away with it. And it felt like Justin Long's character was going to do just that, but thankfully he got absolutely destroyed by the mother. Did he get like his head squeezed in? Like, it was
yeah, dude.
crazy.
She took like her like claws of like her nails and like dug into like his like eye sockets and like split his head open.
Insane.
I was like
it wasn't that bloody or gory of a movie, but when it was very effective.
Oof. It was those tense moments that just kept building up because you thought that like the house was like possessed or something. And I was like, no, it's not even that. It's just something in the basement. Like, not even the basement. The basement's basement.
Yeah, even after you first see the mother, you think maybe it is still a possession or some kind of supernatural thing, but it's just this guy, and it's crazy.
Yeah, definitely a crazy, crazy ride. So, man, that I think that does it for this because the more I talk about it, I'm just going to get more freaked out. So that concludes our review of Barbarian. Definitely go see this in theaters if you can. It is exclusively playing in movie theaters. Honestly, probably the best setting to watch this in because, like I said, if you guys are in for a scare, this will definitely you'll definitely get your money's worth of all of this. So if you've liked what you heard on today's episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform of choice. And always make sure to share an episode of our podcast with a friend, whether it be your mother, your brother, your lover, whoever it may be. Make sure to share an episode of the Film Optix podcast with the movie lover in need. And really quick, what's coming up next on the podcast?
Also, score. Real quick.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so Devin, what would you give this movie score-wise?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like a solid 91. Like I said, the only real complaint I have is the end felt a little rushed, but just a really, really good, cool experience.
I do agree. I feel like the ending was rushed a little bit. I'm kind of right there with you. I'm just gonna give it like a solid 91 as well. Like I said, I think it's one of the best movies of the year. So we'll just have to see what Pearl has to bring next week. I'm very excited about that one because, I mean, it's so exciting because we didn't know we were getting a prequel for this. And it feels so natural. So I'm very, very excited to see Mia Goth back at it again for sure. So yeah, 91 for both of me and Devin. I do apologize. So really quick for what's coming up next. We have Pearl, which we're going to be covering coming up this following Monday on possibly either the 19th or the 20th, that Monday or Tuesday. It's just been kind of crazy on our side. Are we covering The Woman King as well?
I don't know.
I'm not sure either. We'll see. I know we're definitely covering Pearl because that is, I mean, we already did X. So if you haven't read or listened to our X review, we did that a few months ago. We also are going to be covering House of the Dragon episode 5 and She-Hulk episode 5 as well. And definitely keep a lookout for our Avatar: The Last Airbender book 3 Fire review that will be dropping by the end of September. And of course, what's out right now, we have our House of the Dragon episode 1 through 4 review, spoiler free. That is up on the podcast for people to listen to, as well as our She-Hulk episode 1 through 4 review, as well as our Avatar: The Last Airbender book 2 Earth review. Definitely check that out. And of course, for House of the Dragon episode 5, that's going to be spoiler free. We're going to be doing that every single week. It's it's been a wild ride, man. Like, I kind of want to see this movie again. Like, I don't know if I want to do it in like my own home so I can just like pause it or just like skip over some parts. I don't know, but definitely gonna check this one out before the year is over again. But with all that said, we hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys